Faith Spiritual Center Worldwide once again, and where we know that nothing happens by chance, we are all here by divine appointment. And this includes our viewing audience. If you tuned in at this moment, this is for you. And as we come together to acknowledge the hour of power and the whole element of time, I am recalling the words of Jesus the Christ when he said, "Now it is high time to awaken out of sleep." Now, this moment. And when we open the space energetically of the universal energy, we take ourselves out of time, which is of the relative, and we place ourselves within the eternal moment. The Course in Miracles calls it the holy instant, and says the only thing that is true about the past is that it is not here. There is only this moment. There is only this expression. And one of my very favorite statements, I tear down the walls of opinion that separate my brothers and sisters from thee. I set them free from the projection of myself so I may see them as they are. I will not measure them with the yardstick of yesterday, for perhaps in the night an angel of light revealed to them what they are. And today they may be that. And that lets out the opening for transformation. We've all had negative experiences of people, and it's interesting when they come up, our mind usually goes to that, which is really robbing ourselves and them of the expression of unfoldment, the expression of growth, which we teach, the ground of being in our way of life, in Science of Mastery, Science of Mind, is that every moment is a new moment of awakening. Now there was a beggar, and he was out on the streets, and a gentleman passed by, and he said, "You got any spare change?" And he said, "No, I have nothing to offer you." And he said, "Oh, okay, you have nothing to offer me? Oh, okay." And he said, "But what is that you're sitting on?" And he said, "Oh, it's just an old box. It's a hard, it's just an old hard cardboard box." And he said, "Well, what's inside of it?" And he said, "Well, nothing." He said, "When was the last time you looked inside of it?" And he said, "Well, quite a while." And he said, "Why don't you look inside of it?" And he said, "What's the point? It's just empty." But he was curious then. He said, and the stranger insisted, "Look inside the box." So he got up off the box. He turned it upside down, and there was all of this gleaming gold inside the box he had been sitting on for so long. And what we're saying here is, it's inside. The gold is within us. In Thailand, there is the beautiful golden Buddha, right? And that golden Buddha, for centuries, was a clay Buddha. Everyone thought it was a clay Buddha. And then a major highway went through. And it's so interesting because legend has it that the Burmese, when they went through Siam, that the old priests hid everything, and they went and they took clay from the earth and they covered the golden Buddha because they did not want it stolen. But there was no one left after the Burmese went through Siam. And for centuries, devotee after devotee worshipped the clay Buddha and acknowledged the message of enlightenment. And then one day, an old monk decided he's got, the highway is going through, and they were going to move this clay Buddha. And as he looked out in the rain, there was something gleaming through it. And he went and got his hammer and chisel, and he hammered away and chiseled away. And underneath the clay Buddha, several feet, was this golden Buddha. It's legendary in Thailand. And my uncle, who was a retired admiral from the Navy, was the Goodwill Ambassador to Siam before it became Thailand. And he was the original one that told me the story when I was 11 years old about the golden Buddha. And interestingly enough, that we have this ego, this clay that we cover ourselves up with. But the moment we crack the ego, the gold and the energy come through. Just as the beggar was sitting on something inside the box, there is something within us. There is that energy, the power of now, this moment, the holy instant, that we can go within and transform everything. And I remember in San Diego, and I had a huge congregation in San Diego of 3,000 people. And, I'm sure there was some self-importance, and when I would go somewhere, I wanted to get in and out, and I had things to do, places to go, people to meet, all of the things that one does. And one of my restaurants was a health food restaurant. And when I would go in there, I could not go in there if I was on some sort of a time limit. Now, we have time that is our friend, where we step into the eternal moment. But if I would go in there and I was on a time schedule, they'd come up and they just kind of, have the little, give us the menu. It took 5 or 10 minutes for the menu, and then they come up for the order and just, talk about all the specials, and isn't it wonderful, this glorious day, and oh, aren't you into it? I mean, look at the energy of this day and this sun, and it's just, and I'm going like this, and I'm going, can I just order, please? And let's just get down to it, right? And then one day, it occurred to me that these servers were my teachers. And that if I was to go in there, I was to take myself out of time and place myself within the eternal moment. So that when they wanted to talk about the beautiful psychedelic day and the glorious food and the energy of the chef and all the wonderful things that are going on in the planet, I was up for that. I created the space for that. And they taught me such a vital lesson. That when we think we are so self-important, we have these schedules, and not to say that we don't have some timelines and time-sensitive things, because we're in the world. But we're of a higher spiritual reality. When we get it, that we are of a higher spiritual reality, energetically we begin to embody that. And this rushing and looking at our watch and all of this stuff that we do, it just falls away in the natural process of life itself, because we begin to acknowledge that there is that golden moment, there is that golden energy that is within us. There is the tearing down of the projection of ourselves onto others so that we may see them as they are. This is the hour of power. This is the moment that we stretch into eternity, into infinity. To hold a grain of sand in our hands and to see infinity, expressing through it. When we get that at such a deep level, our life begins to unfold. And what I found out about that experience is that I would leave, and it would be really the same amount of time to get me to where I needed to go anyway. And all of that pressurizing of ourselves and thinking it's so self-important moves and falls away in the natural process of life itself when we get it. That I and my Father, Mother God are one. And that was the message of not only Jesus, but also Lord Buddha. And every great avatar sage of the age had the message of oneness. Beyond color, race, creed, and sexual orientation, we are one. It is this oneness that arises through us. I make a promise every Sunday that you will leave here feeling better than you arrived. Because energetically, we want to lift ourselves at that vibrational frequency that allows us, that takes us ourselves out of the relative, out of the suffering. Buddha defined enlightenment as a lack of suffering. And when they would say, well, how does one go about, not suffering? He would never say, because he wanted each person to go within to that secret place of the Most High and find and discover that answer for themselves. If we are growing and unfolding life, each new day is an opportunity. Each new opportunity is an opening. Each opening is the aha moment. And I challenge myself on this every single day of my life. And it's not to say that there isn't suffering all around us, that we don't speak our word into the law of mind, acknowledging that wherever pain or dis-ease seems to be operating anywhere on the planet, the presence of God is. This is our ground of being. And I had someone on Facebook tell me that she had lost her son, and that on each birthday, that the memories of him would come up. And I say, we just bless him on his way. This moment, the moment that you lived, is eternal, beyond the reach of hands, yet ever in the heart. And that we're all standing on this side of the shore. And there is a great ship in front of us that is majestic and beautiful, and the sails are shimmering in the sunlight. And as it begins to go out to sea, someone at our side says, well, there, it's gone. Gone where, I ask? Its diminished size is in me, not in it. And just as someone at my side says, there, it's gone, there are other eyes watching it coming and taking up the loud shout. Here it comes at last. Here it comes at last. There is one life. That life is God's life. And that life is our life right here and right now. The hour of power is within us that we open to and we stretch out toward infinity and realize that there is nothing so important that we cannot be kind, that we cannot be loving, that we cannot be gracious. My manicurist was telling me yesterday that a very famous opera singer was asked, how do you like Susan Boyle? And she had something really unkind to say. And I said, that's very sad for her, because the truth is there is only mutual cooperation. Her success makes mine possible. My success makes hers possible. And I said, how much more glorious if she felt secure within herself that she could say, look at this wonderful talent. Look at this woman that was discovered in this obscure village that could come forth on Britain's Got Talent, and she could just shake it up. And, they were all making fun of her anyway. Simon was rolling his eyes, and what are you going to do today? And Susan Boyle belted it out in such an angelic and beautiful spiritual voice that it brought not only the audience to their feet in applause, but tears to the judges. And I love it when that happens, because something is touched within us, that we don't have to be forever sophisticated and roll our eyes and, the whole thing. We can say, yes, isn't it wonderful that someone was discovered? That in this moment, what that means is that we're all discovered. That all our talents and all of our energy and our aliveness, we're all discovered because we're all part of this amazing spiritual family. We have a divine heritage. I did not have a good relationship with my father. My father was an abusive alcoholic. I went through years of hating my father until one day when he came and he cried and he apologized and asked for forgiveness. And all the things that I wanted to say to him and how he really affected my life so tragically on so many levels just disappeared in the natural process of life itself. That was the day I knew that I was healed. That was the day, and I was a minister. And that was the day that I knew that I tear down the walls of opinion that separate my brothers and my sisters from me. I set them free from the projection of myself so I may see them as they are. I will not measure them with the yardstick of yesterday, for perhaps in the night an angel of light revealed to them what they are, and today, right now, they may be that. I had none of that. I had none of the angst and the sorrow. I only had compassion and love for this person that was mistreated in his own childhood. And as this compassion filled me, I said, it's all right, Daddy. It's all right. I forgive you, forgive yourself. I said, I wouldn't be who I am today without those experiences. And what I know is, I would not be who I am, and neither would I repeat them. That I have learned, it is finished. It is done. I don't need to carry it around any longer. We know we're healed when we don't need to carry it around and talk about it and share it. Remember, that which we utter becomes the adder, and share it with everyone or anyone who will listen. We become bored with it ourselves, because the truth is, why are we going to be at the effect of something that happened to us rather than take the gift out of it and say, this is who I am today. Am I empowered out of what happened to me? Or am I embittered out of what happened to me? See, that is our choice, and that is why I love our way of life. that a spiritual mind treatment is a positive prayer of alignment. It's speaking our word into the law of mind, not to a judgmental God, not to a fickle God, not begging, bargaining, or beseeching this, being in a big chair with a little black book, but an energy, a loving presence that says, I love you just the way you are. Come, let us commune together. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man, woman hear my voice, let them answer, and I will come into them and be with them, and they with me. Because inside the box is that golden experience. Under the clay of the ego is the energy of that amazing, pristine, beautiful deity that we choose to call God or whatever works for us. That we heal what needs to be healed. That which needs to be healed is healed. That which needs to be revealed is revealed. That which needs to be known is known. And that which needs to be released is released quickly, gently, and with grace. And for all of you who had fabulous fathers, God bless you. It's wonderful to have that experience. And then that is the energy that perpetuates itself. And that we choose, I believe, our families of origins to learn the necessary lessons, to learn the lessons of unconditional love, so that we can no longer harbor those feelings and realize, as a powerful sovereign being, I came into this planet, I chose who I was going to enter, what rites of passage I was going to enter through, so I could learn the most unconditional love and ground of being of who and what I am, and live from that place. So the next time somebody, they come up to you and they go, oh, isn't it a great day? And so what's your order? And they're kind of writing and what, try this or that. You can be in that energy field of the eternal. That we can be in that energy of this moment that stretches onward toward infinity. And let me tell you, I have negotiated with reality as well at airports. And suddenly the plane is late or whatever. It's like, thank you, God, there is a God. I am so grateful because the hour of power is within us. That we're going to be subject to all the human emotions. We're going to have all the human experiences. But we're going to know that this is the moment I can do something about it. This is the moment I can forgive. This is the moment I can love. This is the moment that I can release. This is the moment that I can let it all go, because today is a new day. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, for the opportunity to know the truth and to be free. That we are free because we are here today to open the space, to allow God to do what God does best by means of us, and that is to love. That is the universal mandate. This commandment I give thee, that ye love one another as I have loved thee. When Buddha was asked if he was a saint or he was a God, he said, I am awake. I am awake. So are we awake?
Yes.
Yes, we are awake. Let's just say that together. I am awake. I am awake. What are we? We are awake. What are we? We are awake. Yes. And no one sleeps in my service. I want you to know that. Because why? We are awake and we are going higher yet. Higher yet. God bless you on this glorious Father's Day. I salute you and I love you. Namaste.